is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is brand new stuff from the band Wilson. That is from their album Tasty Nasty. Name of that tune is House of Fuckery. And the owner and the leader of the House of Fuckery, I guess, would be this guy. It's the vocalist of Wilson. It is Chad Nicefield. Chad, how are you, man?
Hello. I'm doing good. I am currently somewhere in Illinois thinking about you, and you just happened to call me at the exact same time, so our worlds collide.
No doubt, man.
And congratulations. You now have HPV.
There we go. Thanks. Well, let's see if getting a shot of Wilson right now clears that up. How's that?
There you go. You said something funny. The House of Fuckery. It's so awesome that you played that song. But I wanted to say, like, when you listen to the song, how did it make you feel? Did you feel like you were like in a like? Yeah, I just want to hear what was your vibe when you were listening to that song?
To House of Fuckery or to the whole record?
You said you right after we just played House of Fuckery. How did you feel about that song?
Dude, it's a definitely a cool vibe. It's a different vibe for you guys. It's got that, like, I don't even know what you would call it, that ethereal kind of quality in the middle of it. It's a cool song, but I have to admit, like pretty much everything on Tasty Nasty, it is nothing like what I was expecting from something that said Wilson on the front of it, man.
Party. Well, that's what we were hoping for.
Well, it's dude, and that's the thing, man, is for anybody that is remotely aware of the band, but not a super hardcore fan, I'll go that way. This is if they heard this, they may not even know that it's you guys, man. You took a very, very hard left or right, whichever way you wanted to turn, with so much of this music based, at least compared to the two records that I've heard, man. Very different, man.
Yeah, and that was a conscious, we were very conscious of making that decision. Coming from the area that we were at before making this record, we were in a pretty dark place.
Right.
We were almost going to call it quits as a band, and we were trying to find our wherewithal to continue to do it, and we had a very serious conversation. A record that exposed our DNA as people. I mean, what we were constantly running into on the road is we were playing in front of, crowds who were generally used to a very somber rock show,
Sure.
And it was our DNA as people, our hilarious antics or energy or whatever that was drawing them in. More so, I think more so than the music in some incidences where, like, you mentioned the House of Fucker. We built a whole entire, like, fan base as a group called the House of Fuckery, based upon, like, those exact ethos of who we are as people, matching up with other people who are have similar, hilarity and humor and there's humility in it all. So making the record, we wanted to, we basically just wanted to pay homage to who we are as human beings this time, and what influenced us to even start creating music to begin with. So you'll hear, like, a lot of things that we call the old 90s throwback.
Right.
Because, we're 80s babies, and in mid-90s, late 90s, early 2000s, that's the time of our lives when we really discovered our own, versions of rock and roll that were different from what our father and our peers or, or brothers and sisters or whatever we're listening to. So we leaned heavily on what made us so excited to play music to begin with. When we picked up guitars as 12, 13-year-old, 14-year-old kids and started to learn how to play, a Bloodhound Gang song or an Offspring song or a Weezer song or a Nirvana song or Beastie Boys, or, started to figure out what the hell is Wu-Tang doing to make all of these sounds happen and things like that. We dove headfirst into that territory with this record, and I think it shows our DNA, and I think it shows us as, it shows what kind of music we listen to as people.
Right.
If you listen to that, you'd be like, oh shit, okay, I totally get these guys now. Because, with Right to Rise and stuff like that, and Full Blast Fuckery had a lot more of that hilarity in at least the song titles and lyrics, and Right to Rise is more like, we're going to make a rock record, and we're proud of all the things we've done, but this time we wanted to do it where it was like a no holds bar. This is who we are. Take it or leave it. If you leave it, we don't fucking care anyway.
Right, Right. Well, you definitely hit, and you hit on what I heard too, which is that hard 90s you know, everything from Sugar Ray to the Bloodhound Gang to, you know, all of that stuff in between, and especially the middle of the record, like a Baller and Summertime Treat and Act My Age. All those songs really have that element, which is cool to come back or bring back, I guess, in a time when so much of the hard rock or the rock, the metal that's out there is so damn depressing and, you know, just kind of blah, you know?
I couldn't agree with you anymore. And that was like kind of, you know, and none of this is forced or contrived or anything like that. It was just, you know, like all those lyrics and everything that you're listening to are like, they're just us, you know, being who we are, writing hilarious stories about things that we've done. I mean, they're all true for the most part. Every one of those songs is like has truth in it, and there's a story to it. We just did it in a way where we felt it was more fun.
Right.
And with that being said, that's what we felt over the years of touring and doing this shit over and over and over again, that rock is, you know, heavily, it's very much so missing, is like that humility, that humor, that I'm going to have fun. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do me, you know, and tonight I'm going to go to a rock show and I'm going to have a really good time with a band,
right,
you know, and my friends. And it's going to be an experience, an event, and not just me in a crowd of other strangers watching 5 other strangers who don't give a fuck about me and think that they're better than me, play music in front of me. But I know a few of their songs. And so because I know a few of their songs, they're, you know, they're supposed to be godlike or some shit like that. Right. And that's not who we are as people. We wanted to make a record and that we could bring onto the road and show everybody who we are wholly as people, musically and with our stage show.
Sure. Now, this leads to the question, though. As a band that has always had that fun, quirky side to you, what was it that got to the point at the end of the last album cycle where you guys were seriously contemplating, you know, hanging it up? Because it sounds like you guys still genuinely enjoy what you're doing. So was it just the business aspect of it that was making you not enjoy it as much as maybe you are once again?
I mean, at the end of the day, there's always those cliches, right? You know, like the old industry cliches. And, you know, some of those rang true for us in ways that we weren't expecting and we weren't braced to handle or understand. And when we, you know, when we were at the end of it, we were just like drained, you know. Right. It was a situation where we were like, man, I mean, we keep doing what everybody wants us to do, you know, we're doing us, but are we doing us this is fucking rock and roll, right? We're supposed to be able to do whatever the fuck we want.
Right.
And so we were like, if we're going to do this again, then this has to be done where you stay the fuck out of our way and let us make the record that we want to make. If you like it and people like it, awesome. And if they don't, we still made the record that we wanted to make and we did it our way. And we're none more proud than to do that. And I think that hopefully will speak volumes on, you know, throughout the course of this record, and people will understand that as it comes out, that like this is their version of being probably the most fucking punk rock that they've ever been as a band.
Right. So. No doubt, man. Well, dude, I gotta say too, the first video for the tune Like a Baller, what a fun watch that is. And you know, not to keep comparing this to that or whatever, but I swear this is like a 30-year time warp to the future of when Beastie Boys did Fight for Your Right to Party. It's just a fun video, man. It's so good.
Thank you. That's exactly what we're trying to achieve. You know, with that video, we wanted, I'll bring up the humility again. We wanted to let, you know, like, come on, you know, like there's going to be people who will be like, well, these guys think they're all like fucking big ballers. Like, no, man, we're having fun. We're telling a story about, you know, the age-old classic of one day I'm going to be better than I am right now, right? Right. But let's do it in a way that's like us, and let's tell this story with this video that's like so fucking silly that you cannot understand who we are. There's no way for you to walk away from that viewing session and not be like, oh, I totally get these guys are here to have a good fucking time, and they might even troll me a little bit along the way, you know.
Right, no doubt, man. well, dude, when you guys are on the road, and obviously since you're on the road now, you know, you're starting to get your first taste of it. When you start introducing new music, and especially now where you're introducing music that's you know, quite a bit different than the last record. You know, do you get a lot of the weird looks where people aren't sure what they're looking at, or are people just adapting right to it?
I think this is a strange era too for us, because we haven't toured for almost 2 years.
Right.
We kept our heads down. We made the record that we wanted to make. We weren't very public about what we were doing. With the industry cliche shit that I said we went through. That we didn't make a stink about it. We handled our business like true Detroiters do.
Right.
And we just kept pushing through it. And now we're out on the road playing these songs for the first time nightly, and we're gauging what's going on. I mean, it's an interesting situation, because honestly, to be honest, our true fans, the people who have been there from the very beginning, and get us that DNA, like I was mentioning, they're more excited for this than anybody else has ever been, than anybody else is. And the people who we're finding that are becoming more and more attracted to what we're doing is the exact demographic that that we're interested in being affiliated with. If you don't get it, or you don't like it, or something's too shiny and bright for you, then that's all good. You do you. We're going to do us. This is what what world we wanted to create, and the people who we bring into that world are very much welcome. Anybody is.
Sure.
But if you're not, then you're the exact demographic of rock and roll that we're trying to disassociate with anyways, because you're not helping the genre move forward or stay alive. You just want it to be the way that you remember it being, or you like it being.
Right.
And that's not how music like rock and roll stays alive, by continuing to pump out the same bland bullshit over and over and over again. So we're here to shake it up, have some fun, and make it fucking weird.
Absolutely. You know what's funny about that, dude, is I was working for a label that was actually recruiting you way back when you first were getting together and looking for your deal. And I'll tell you, it was Standby Records. I was doing their web work and their marketing and stuff at that time. And I remember your stuff getting floated around the office, and you were so not marketed this way. It was, this is going to be another metal band. This is going to be and it was, they were marketing, they were comparing you or considering you on the same tray as 10 other metalcore bands. It was, and you guys clearly did not go that path, man. It's refreshing that a band was able to survive being lumped in before they were even able to go, and still build their own thing that is anti everything that ended up being out there.
It's really crazy. I mean, I totally remember that time period, and from where this band started out, and when Jason started the band, I came in shortly thereafter.
Sure.
But when Jason started the band, this wasn't ever supposed to be a fucking thing where I'm sitting here and almost 10 years later talking to you about a hip hop influenced 90s rock record that Wilson made.
Right.
we just were making music and doing things that we were liking to do, and that we were liking at that period of time in our life, or whatever was going on, and people were paying attention to it, and that was nice. And we took that energy and we just rolled with it. I mean, it's crazy to think about how far it is and how far we've came, and the kind of leaps and bounds that we've made, considering the obstacles that have been put in front of us. But again, I think that just comes with perseverance, and us just being very proud of what we're doing, and this sounds cliche, but it's 100% true. It's the fans. I mean, once you get to know us, I feel like a very wise person told me once that to know Wilson is to love Wilson. Once you get to know us, I feel like it all connects.
Sure.
And and I think that we're fortunate enough to have people out there waving that fuckery crew flag for us and saying, no, you got it wrong.
Right.
Check this out. And then people are like, oh, it takes a little bit of time, especially, like you said, when labels are like, well, does this sound like this other band that we can connect it to and hopefully sell a few units for of this and recoup on our money, because we can put them, alongside whatever said metalcore band or metal band or whatever it is. And, they're like that enough to where they'll move units to the general fan, but they don't stick around. They don't have a story besides being like that other band. So,
right.
I mean, for what it's worth, here's Wilson 10 years later.
Yeah, and you're still doing it, man. And that is one of the coolest things. Is you guys, in a way, and I'm going to say this, and I'm not making a musical comparison. I'm just making more of a fan base comparison. You guys remind me a lot of a band like the Black Crowes that. just did their own thing, really didn't give a shit what the industry thought of them, but built a fan base that kept them going and kept supporting them, man. It's just good to see it. It doesn't happen enough in rock these days.
I totally agree. I mean, the Black Crowes are one of my top 10 favorite bands of all time.
Sure.
Make Your Money Maker. It's still a record that I will listen to at least once a month, like front to back on a
Sure.
driving trip or whatever it is, and my headphones on my run or whatever it is. That's a great comparison, and I couldn't be any more thrilled and honored to have it. But you're right. It was a band that was like, we're a little bit hippie, we're a little bit rock, we're a little bit fun, we're a little bit jivey, we're a little bit funky. I don't know where we fit in, but we're just going to do it, and we'll find out as it comes. I mean, look at them now. If they were to play and pull up, and if they were to get back together, and
right,
and the Robinson brothers, squash whatever beef that they still remains, it would probably be fucking still massive. I mean, I'd still go see Chris Robinson and the Brotherhood, and once a year or whatever when it comes through, and he holds incredible numbers and has diehard fans, and those fuckers drink. I'll say that. The drunk motherfuckers at those shows. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. Thank you very much for the comparison.
Sure, man. Well, dude, tell everybody where they can follow along with you guys and where you're going to be and all that good stuff.
Hell yeah. Well, the easiest place to find us, all things related and fuckery, is houseoffuckery.com. And there you can find links to all of our socials, our tour dates, videos, everything. We're on tour right now with Theory of a Dead Man. This tour's going all over the Midwest and South U.S. until August 10th. And then we'll be back out in the fall, and those dates will be announced pretty soon. Excellent,
man. Well, dude, as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track from the new record, maybe tell us a quick story about it. So what would you like to wrap this one up with?
If you can swear, you play Fuck Up My High.
All right. And why that one?
That was about my ex-girlfriend ruining my fucking my vibes for years and years and years. So ruin anybody's fucking vibes, like my Kendrick Lamar song. So,
very nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Fuck Up My High.
Well, let's check it out right now. This is brand new stuff from Wilson right here on your Classic Metal Show.